Hi guys, welcome to this week's Lift talky-bit. I decided that I would take the talky-bit out on the road again. So we're at the back of church, or at the front of church actually. We're in the choir stalls at the moment. So if I just spin you around a bit, you can see the high altar over there. You can see the other side of the choir stalls. And you can see out the front of church. This is kind of a view that maybe you haven't seen before, okay? There's the organ behind me. Okay, so I thought we'd do it because I like change, and sometimes doing things differently is a bit good. This week, we're thinking about being embarrassed. And we're thinking about how sometimes we can be embarrassed about saying that we're Christians or that we've got any interest or knowledge about who Jesus was and anything that he did whilst he was here on earth almost 2,000 years ago. Now, there was one guy who lived at the same time as Jesus and he met him and he was embarrassed. This guy's name was Nicodemus, okay? And he was a Pharisee, which is a Jewish leader 2,000 years ago, and a bit like a vicar today. And he wanted to know a bit more about Jesus, but he was too embarrassed to go and see him during the day because he didn't want people to know. He thought people might think less of him. He thought the other Pharisees might give him a hard time and start asking awkward questions. He just thought it wasn't worth the hassle. So his plan was to go and see Jesus at night. When there'd be fewer people around, nobody would really notice. And if he did bump into anybody, he could just go, yeah, I'm just out for a night walk. I felt inspired. I couldn't sleep. Whatever, okay? Now, today, many people are embarrassed about coming to Jesus. And I think the main reason for their embarrassment is that they don't know who he is or what he's like. I think if they knew he was the Son of God and the creator of the universe, then they wouldn't be embarrassed. But I think they'd be kind of really chuffed to meet him. It'd be like meeting your hero or meeting someone really important like the Queen or the Prime Minister or somebody like that. Now, Nicodemus didn't know Jesus yet. So he was embarrassed, and this is why he crept out after dark. But the thing is, Nicodemus was about to have an encounter with the King of the universe. You remember that this half-term we're thinking about encounters with the King, and he was about to have his very own encounter with the King of the universe. If you want to read about it, and you can, it's in the book of John, chapter 3, and Nicodemus has this really strange conversation with Jesus where Jesus is talking about being born again, and Nicodemus just really isn't getting it in any way, shape or form. But it's a good conversation, and if you want to, you can go and check it out. And so you're looking for John chapter 3, okay? Now, a long time after this, Nicodemus had come to know who Jesus is. And after Jesus had been killed on the cross, but before he came back to life, Nicodemus went to a guy called Pilate, who I'm hoping you will have heard of, because he was the ruler of Jerusalem at the time, and the guy who'd actually sentenced Jesus to death, to ask for his permission to go and get Jesus' body off the cross and prepare it for burial. Now, even Jesus' closest friends and disciples had run away because they were absolutely terrified of being killed by the Roman soldiers or being lynched by the Pharisees. But Nicodemus was there. He now knew who Jesus was, and he wasn't embarrassed anymore. He was proud to know the King of the universe. When we really know who Jesus is, we are proud to say that I am Christian. I am proud to say that I am a Christian. It's generally one of the first things that I'll say to people when I meet them. They'll notice my fish pendant. They'll ask me what I do for a job. It's really, really easy to drop into conversation. But I am so proud to say that I am a Christian. And when we all really know who Jesus is, we say we're Christians and we're not embarrassed anymore. And I think that that's absolutely brilliant. Now, this is just a quick reminder that we'll be out visiting on Thursday. If I've said anything here that you want to ask more questions about, but maybe you don't want to stick your hand up now, that's fine. You can you can talk to us whilst we're out visiting. Me and Lou love talking to you guys. We love finding out what you're thinking and what different stuff you want going on in Lift. So that's great. And I'm now going to hand back over to Mark. Mark.